I'm just saying, I can't figure out where you connect to this meeting.
On the city's website.
That's on the city's website. I can't figure out how you get to the connection.
I do see it on YouTube. I just searched for it on YouTube and found it. It just says waiting for it to go live. So it's there as a live stream event on YouTube.
I did a meeting earlier, Joel, by going to the calendar, the city calendar, and on the specific day, clicking on that meeting, and that gave me the link. Now, I don't know if that's the case.
Yes.
Joel,
if you go that way, you do find it.
Okay.
So
this is Leo. I'm a resident just watching. I joined the Zoom because the stream on the website isn't started yet. So I just wanted to throw that out there since you were all.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, it does look like on YouTube it says waiting for the city to start. So it's just somebody I'm assuming there will flip a switch when we go.
Louis, are you streaming it, or is Tracy?
Hold on, guys. Typically, we start the live feed as soon as we start the meeting.
Okay.
The meeting, the live stream, I turned it on.
Okay.
But I typically start it as soon as we start. As soon as you call the meeting to order, Mayor. Secondly, so it is live.
Okay.
Secondly, we did have I believe we had Rita who had logged in, but somehow she just got disconnected. So I think she is the 610-252 number. So I'm gonna, if you can bear with us for 1 second, I'm gonna see if that's her.
Okay.
All right, I believe that this is Rita, who I just let in. She just has to unmute herself. Rita, you should be able to unmute yourself somehow.
Even if she's on the phone?
Yeah, there you go. Rita, are you there?
I am, and I apologize, everyone.
Okay. All right, then we're going to get started. Rita, did Mr. Brown talk to you at all about not being able to be here? I know he couldn't make last night's meeting if we had it.
He only told me about last night, Mayor.
Okay, that's all I thought about. So Tracy said he tried to get in. He's having problems connecting maybe, but we're going to get started because it's already 6:05. So please rise for the invocation. You actually just stay in your seat. We'll rise for the pledge of the flag, but that's all. Get the flag ready. Okay, with the invocation. With the deeply troubling events happening in our nation's capital, tonight I begin our prayer asking for calm, for peace, and for democracy. For the soul of our nation, we pray to heal our land and rid us of this quagmire of dysfunction. We deplore the desecration of the United States Capitol, the shedding of innocent blood, the loss of life, and the quagmire dysfunction that threatens our very democracy. The peaceful transition of power is one of the hallmarks of this great nation. In this troubling moment, we must recommit ourselves to the values and principles of our democracy and to come together as one nation under God. Guide us in the ways of peace and obtain for us the wisdom and grace of true patriotism and love of country. We fervently pray for peace and for God's protection over our country, our lawmakers, and all those that may be in harm's way. May peace-loving Americans of goodwill throughout the United States come together to engender peace, reconciliation, and healing of our wounded and broken nation. We pray for common humanity that treats all people with respect. We pray that you help us unify our divisive nation and help us elected officials do the right thing for the right reasons. Amen. Pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Ettinger?
Here.
Mr. Milan?
Here.
Mr. O'Connell?
Here.
Dr. Ruggles?
Here.
Dr. Ruggles?
Here.
Mrs. Volcano?
Here.
Mayor Panto?
Here. Approval of the agenda, please.
Move. So moved.
Moved by Volcano,
Second.
seconded by
Second.
Ruggles. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
And Mr. Brown's not here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now have the action on the minutes. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved by Ruggles,
Second.
second by Volcano. Roll call, please.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
And Mr. Ettinger?
Aye. Okay, at this time, we have public comment on agenda items only. There will be another opportunity at the end of the meeting to talk about anything, comments, questions, or concerns about the city of Easton. But right now, I'll open up for public comment for agenda items only. If you would, at the bottom of your screen, you can raise your hand, and we'll allow you into the room to speak. I don't see anybody, but there is opportunity at the end of the meeting. Consent agenda, Madam Clerk?
Okay, on the consent agenda, we have a resolution which would approve a certificate of appropriateness for 45 Larry Holmes Drive. We have a resolution approving a certificate of appropriateness for 33 North 4th Street. And we have a resolution that would approve the destruction of various police records.
Move the consent agenda.
O'Connell moves the consent agenda. Is there a second?
So move.
Moved by Volcano, seconded by Volcano, rather. At this time, we'll have roll call, Madam Clerk, on the consent.
Mr.
agenda.
Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano? Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye. There are no reports to be received by City Council this evening. We'll go to reports of committee, Economic Development Committee, Councilmember Volcano.
No report this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Planning and Code Committee, Councilman O'Connell.
No report, Mayor.
Public Safety Committee, Councilman Ruggles.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to report to council that the Economic Development Director, John Kingsley, and I met with FEMA representatives, and we presented our proposal as far as a flood mitigation program. And I think it was received very well. There was nothing that really came out of the meeting other than a sharing of ideas. But I think that they're very much on board with the ideas that we had presented. So the funding for that particular round will not occur until late portions of this year. So we'll probably be putting together a proposal that will go to PEMA, the Pennsylvania arm, and at the end of this year, and hopefully get that program up off the ground by that time. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Ruggles. Public Works, Councilman Ettinger.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report tonight.
Thank you. Councilman Milan, Administration Committee.
I have no report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Milan. Report of City Solicitor, Mr. Shear.
I have no report.
Very good. At the next, just reported the mayor. I just have a couple items. Number one, I'll give you an update on the Winter Village. It was actually really good. We have some vendors who did as much as $1,000 a day on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, $500 on Friday. Book and Puppet, who did not have a hut but was actually there on the square in their brick and mortar, said that up until the Winter Village, they were doing 70% of what they did last year, with a possibility of actually having to close. By the end of the year, by the end of the Winter Village, they had been brought up to 2019 standards. In their words, it saved them. The Antique Emporium told me the same thing. They were really busy, which is a half a block from the area. Smartivities, which is located on Center Square, also had a hut. They just couldn't rave. They raved about it. As far as the other huts, they also commended. Right now, we're doing a survey. Mr. Kingsley and Miss Kometz from GDP is working on one survey for the brick and mortar stores and one survey for the huts. I also like to let you know that I'll give Rita a copy of this. I did set, as I mentioned in my invocation, the world, especially our country, is very divided. I think it's horrible what happened at the Capitol, but I go back to what I've asked the state many times for. The fact that you can bring a weapon into a city council or a public building is ludicrous to me. It just lacks common sense at all levels. When I go into the Capitol building in Harrisburg, I have to go through a metal detector. When I go to a county council meeting, I have to go through a metal detector because the courts are there. So courts and the state capitol are covered. Municipal buildings aren't. We know we had a tremendous tragedy up in Monroe County just a few years back. So I sent a letter to the state officials, both the Senate and the House leaders, as well as our own State Representative Bob Freeman and State Senator Lisa Boscola. And basically, it talks about the thing, and it says, what I'm asking, and the final paragraph is, I'm asking that our state legislature takes a proactive role and immediately passes a law that forbids weapons in all public buildings. It isn't fair to our local officials and employees that we ban weapons in the state capitol building and our courts, but not in municipal buildings. Will it take another killing of a local official like we witnessed in Monroe County, or will our state officials do the right thing and ban weapons from our local government buildings? Please don't wait. Act now to protect local employees and local officials. It's been falling on deaf ears, but I just think it's very difficult for us, knowing our employees may be at risk during the day and our various authorities, boards, and commissions could be at risk at night. So I did send it out, and I signed it also as the former past president of the Pennsylvania League of Cities, as well as mayor of the city of Easton, and I hope that does something. So if you see Senator Boscola or Representative Freeman, please remind him that we really think this is necessary. Next, you probably read, I just wanted to tell you that the Palmer Street Rest Lawn project, when I took office, and most of you in 2008, we had 6 units that we owned. The rest were sold. And Rest Lawn was a project that was the city leased to the Housing Authority for 50 years. That was up in 92. And in 1992, then administration Goldsmith and the city council agreed that they would sell them. And they did. They fixed them all up, got them up to code, and sold them. But 6 people could not afford to buy them, and they came to city council, and city council waived the right and allowed them to stay there. And we hired the Lehigh County Housing Development Corporation to manage them for us. We are now down to 2. We had 2 settlements in the last week. We just sold 218 Palmer Street. We have 2 left. So we are liquidating our contract with Lehigh County Historic Housing Development Corporation, and we are going to manage those 2 units ourselves. The city kept those people there because they couldn't afford to buy them. They're based 15% of their monthly income is what they pay. So we're not throwing anyone out. We're just letting you know that we're going to dissolve the lease, the contract with them. And we do have the 6 that we had. We now have 2 left. Remember a couple months ago, you passed a resolution authorizing the city to sell them to the local member or immediate member of their family for, I think it was 80% of value. This one, 218, was actually sold for a little over $90,000. It was sold at market rate. It was not sold to the owner. It was been vacant for almost a year. You may also have been reading about the homelessness problem we have. Obviously, you're well aware of that in the city. And Mount Ida, the Coca-Cola Mountain, has experienced some trash and human waste issues, but so is Mount Jefferson, which is up there behind the library. I had a resident call and complain not only about Mount Ida, but Mount Jefferson, and actually they have open fires up there. If you know, that's a wooded area. So he's very concerned as well. Hopefully within the next meeting in 2 weeks, you will actually be getting from us, from the administration and DCED, Department of Community and Economic Development with Mrs. Volcano, you will be getting a proposal to assist the homeless in the amount of about $300,000. So we'll be talking about that. We'll meet in committee the night before on a number of issues, that one being one of them. I want you to understand the CARES Act. We'd like to bring it to you to show you how we used it and how we intend to use it in the future. And that still leaves a little over $350,000 out of the total $1.1 million to for anything we may need in the future, such as vaccine distribution. We're working with Dr. Ruggles. He's met with Mr. Kingsley as well. So has Mrs. Volcano, to make sure that the city gets reimbursed for our money that we spent on it, our PPE program, et cetera, as well as we providing safe harbor with a lot of issues, a lot of personal protective equipment, food. We're paying for utilities. We're building showers for the warming center, which is becoming a shelter, not just a warming center. So that's about $110,000. We got about $190,000 being appropriated to 3rd Street Alliance, again, for women and children that are homeless. So that'll be presented to you. I don't want you to think that we're not doing anything for the homeless. We obviously understand the issue. The post that I made over the weekend is getting, different, mixed review. Didn't understand. There are people, when we tore down or dismantled, I shouldn't say tore down, but dismantled the homeless encampment along Lehigh Drive for the very same reasons. You remember the gentleman came, talked about the person who was fighting, who was charging people to have a sex tent, who was charging people to live there. You remember that meeting, I'm sure it was about 2 years ago, maybe 3. I didn't want it to get to that point. If the people who could help them get up there and clean up the bank, or at least tell them to dispose of their waste appropriately, we resolve the issue. We're not going to eliminate homeless encampments. We're just not. And it seems like wooded areas and waterways are a place where they like to encamp. But we did provide, I want you to know, we provided porta potties all spring. And it got to the point where the company we were renting them from no longer wanted to rent them to us because they constantly got trashed. Lanta has shut down, for the most part, their public bathrooms for the same reason. So we are working on, one of my goals is to provide some kind of a public bathroom facility. Everybody wants to talk about the ones under the circle. They're not there anymore, people. They're gone. They've been gone for 45 years. But that doesn't mean we don't have a need. And we do need to have public bathrooms available for the public. So that's you will get that update in 2 weeks. Because I would let you know that we've not, without violating HIPAA, we've had several issues of COVID in city employment, in our family of city employees. And I'm going to be closing, as an executive order that I issued today to all the employees. As of tomorrow, City Hall is closed to the public. The only public building that's absolutely will be still open to the public will be the police station for payment of tickets, etc., or reporting a crime or some illegal activity that's taking place. As you know, the police department is set up where you can walk in and everybody's behind bulletproof glass, which is a deterrent for COVID, for spreading COVID. They're behind glass, and the door is locked. They can't get in. We have several members, as I said, of our staff and their families who have COVID, and we don't want to subject the employees to somebody coming in with COVID, nor do we want to subject the public from coming into our building that may be infected. So as of tomorrow, that will be It'll be closed till at least the end of January. We'll reconsider it at that time. Everybody we're done with their quarantine. We could probably reopen at that time. In the interim, the city will be waiving all the fees for paying bills online. You probably have been getting some complaints like I have about that. Mr. Campus wants to speak, and let's.
Mayor, it's not all the fees. It's the it's the pay by check fee.
Right.
It's 75 cents.
Yeah. Those that want to pay by check online, we'll eat the 75 cents. We'll pay the company instead of them charging the tenant, the residents. So that's all of my report. And hopefully, if there's any questions, I'll gladly take them. Dr. Ruggles, you're muted.
Clarification.
Airplane or what?
Just clarification for the public as far as the recycling center. Is
Yes.
that open or is that?
That is still open.
Okay.
If it closes, it won't be till next week, but it is open right now. Good point. Anyone else? Mrs. Volcano.
Are we going to have a discussion about the e-check billing, or how are we going to notify the public that they will not have to pay that fee?
Mr. Campos.
Mayor, you won't, my understanding is that we're working, well, first of all, we're working with the vendor so they can write the program in order to eliminate that fee when a resident pays their utility bill. So they're not going to see the 75-cent charge. The vendor is going to then, per transaction, bill the city. We will then pay it as we do our other invoices directly to the vendor.
Will that be immediately or?
Yeah, my understanding is that immediately meaning either it was done by the end of the day today or by tomorrow or the next day, that fee will no longer, the 75-cent fee will no longer be in existence for the time being for the monthly pay by check. Now there is an option where you don't have to pay that fee, which is the what's called the automatic pay.
Right.
But this is different. This is if you want to pay manually on your own via check on a monthly basis, that fee will be waived in consideration of the of closing down City Hall to walk-ins.
But unless someone is watching this evening, they're not going to know that.
We will be marketing this via social media, sending it out in the newsletter, and then obviously putting it on the utility billing page.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So just to thank also, we had a Greater Eastern Development Partnership meeting last week. Just want to thank Mrs. Volcano for being on that call and doing a great job helping out with the Winter Village and all those wonderful things that are happening in the city. Throughout the pandemic, which is unfortunately still continuing, we have not made any decisions except that to know that we will not have any special events at least through the month of April, just to let the youth council know, unless it's something that can meet CDC guidelines. Okay, there's no correspondence, so we'll move right on to unfinished business, Madam Clerk.
Okay. We have bill number 34 that was introduced by Mr. Ettinger, which would vacate a portion of Marquis Street and between, I'm trying to find out, between Clinton Terrace, along the southern right-way line of Clinton Terrace. Jesus.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion on the vacation of Marquis Street. Just want to remind everybody that the street itself will not be built on. It'll be maintained as open space for emergency access or in the future. We also have an easement to put any utilities in there if we need to. But in this case, the college owns both sides of that little alleyway. Any other questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Panto?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell? Mr. O'Connell?
What happened to him?
You're muted. Dave.
Aye.
You did it.
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Okay, we also have Bill number 35 that was introduced by Mayor Panto, which would create two 15-minute parking pickup spaces on North 3rd Street between Center Square and Church Street on the east side of the road.
So introduced. I mean, so moved.
Second.
Second by Dr. Ruggles. This is the, if you remember when Easton Taxi was in business, they had two spaces along Hotel Huntington across from Chow and Playa Bowl. Those are the two spaces. We just want to make them 15-minute space and help those places who want to run into the quadrant to get something to pick up, or Chow or Playa Bowl, or the Indian restaurant, Pandora, that's right there. So it's not adding any, it's not taking away any metered spaces. Right now, Atlanta has the whole side of the street as a bus stop because the taxis aren't there. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
We have Mr. Ettinger?
Aye.
Mr. Milan?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano?
Aye.
Mayor Panto?
Aye. You can move on right on to new business, Madam Clerk.
Okay, we have bill number 1 that's being introduced by Mayor Panto. It would create a 15-minute parking pickup in front of 34 North 7th Street and creating a 15-minute parking pickup on the west side of Cole Street, north of Berwick Street.
These are, one is Easton Baking Company that has a 15-minute spot, but was never officially approved by the city. And the other one is on the south side, right off of Berwick Street, the little grocery store where Seipel Hardware used to be. There was one there when Seipel was there, but it was vacant for a long time. It was taken down. So they're the two that we're talking. We basically not adding 215. We're just making more official. So I'll move that. I'll introduce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have bill number 2 that was going to be introduced by Mr. Brown. So I don't know who wants to introduce it.
I can introduce that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Which we will amend the 2021 Open Space Park Fund budget.
I would, as you all know, in 2008, when we took office, we started this impact fee for new development, and they pay into an open space parks and recreation fund. Basically, what we're doing is College Hill Neighborhood Association has done a great job on the Nevin Park fountain, but they've not brought it to fruition. When we set up the most recently last year, I told City Council part of the money of the College Hill project, the Lafayette College project, was going to go towards the fountain. Part of it was going to go towards, and did go towards, the Easton Boys and Girls Club, community gardens and greenhouse. That's already done, and the playground as well. The fountain project has somewhat stalled. There's probably a need of about $20,000, maybe $25,000 left to finish it. We think it's important for that neighborhood and that neighborhood association to bring the project to fruition and complete it. And that's what this money is meant for. It's meant to improve our parks and recreation programs. So that's why I'm introducing it. And I know that I see Hubert Etchinson is on the phone. He's brought this project all the way to this point. If there's any questions, he can answer them. If not, I'll move that for introduction and a vote in 2 weeks.
Okay. That's all I have, Mayor, so far.
Thank you. I'm not looking. My phone is on mute, so I didn't know that I was getting 2 text messages from Ken Brown. Mayor, for the record, I said yes for both bills. Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for introducing bill number 2. So he was on. He's still on somewhere. We don't know. He's not on our list of attendees, but he's there. So thank you for listening, Councilman Brown. We're glad you're on. At this point, we have public comment on any matter, comments, concerns, questions about the city of Easton. If you would like to speak, just raise your hand. I see Leo Atkinson has his hand up. Tracy, you can let him in. We'll let him in first. Anyone else, just raise your hand.
Mayor, just remind him we need name and address, please.
Yes, Leo, if you would just give your name and address, we'll open the line for you.
Sure. My name is Leo Atkinson. I live at 5 North 3rd Street, Easton, 18042. I just wanted to say, you know, I'm a relatively recent transplant to Easton. I really enjoy living here. But you know, I was troubled by Mayor, your post this weekend regarding the unhoused people living in Mount Ida in that area. And I do appreciate what you said tonight regarding, you know, the assistance that, you know, you're talking about and putting to council for them. So that didn't go unheard. But just from the perspective of someone, especially someone new to the community, seeing the post this weekend really did have me pretty troubled. It seemed just like, to me, there's at least two issues here. One, that, you know, there's kind of this making a ruling on evicting people essentially from where they're living on Facebook. It just didn't seem very professional. It didn't seem like the right, you know, space for that kind of thing to happen. I don't think any resident of the city would want to, you know, have kind of their dirty laundry aired on Facebook without, you know, that conversation, you know, happening with them individually. And I feel like, you know, people who don't have a house that they're living in are, you know, more vulnerable than the rest of us, and kind of shouldn't be treated worse because of that vulnerability. So to me, it just felt like these unhoused people were being treated in a way we probably wouldn't be treating other members of the community. Second, I feel like, you know,
may I just address that, Leo?
Sure.
Let me just address that. I think some of the people who read that post misunderstood the post. I've watched that encampment for 3 months and haven't done anything about it, and I won't. What I was trying to do was tell people to go out and help them clean up the site and keep it tidy. We provided garbage cans in the downtown that they could dispose of their garbage. And I would disagree that if a neighbor, a resident who has a house, kept their yard like that, they would be cited by our code team. My intent is not to dismantle it. That's why I don't want to. I don't want it to get to the point where we have to do that. And the only way to do that is to get people up there like I did several weeks ago to help clean it up. But now it's getting over the cliff where it's very difficult to clean it because it's dangerous. So I can't in all good conscience send city employees up there to clean it up like I did where the level where it was flat. So all I want to do is, you know, stop doing it. We're not going to, our police have been up there, have encountered them, have had interaction with them. We've not dismantled it and we don't want to. I just want you to know that where I come from, I understand the national, as I started my post right from the beginning, it says, I can't believe that we have this issue in the wealthiest nation in the country, in the world. I started by saying that because it's a very difficult position. However, it's a trickle down social issue. The city does not have a Department of Human Services. The people who are out there who are either chemically or alcoholic dependent, they're not allowed in any of the shelters. So they're the ones that we usually have out there, or the mentally ill who just unfortunately don't have the ability to find shelter. And when the state got out of the mental illness business because of budgetary constraints, instead of doing what we have to do in Easton or any local municipalities, bite the bullet and cut back on expenses to take care of this, we are now taking care of the homelessness problem because it's an issue in the city. And as a human being, you want to take care of people. But the state government just got out of the business. The county government has a Department of Human Services, but they don't deal with homelessness. So cities have to do it. And the issue isn't whether we walk away from it or not. The issue is, how do we address it? And you're not going to address it just in Easton. You have to address it regionally. You know, I can look at my, you know, I was on a call a couple of weeks ago trying to resolve this problem. The county had a conference call, a Zoom call about it. And I finally said, that's great. Let's make all the room in the world for these people. There's plenty of room out in Palmer Township and Forks Township and Bethlehem Township. Why does it always have to be the cities? And that's my issue. My issue is the 30,000 people live in Easton pay taxes, and we want to take care of our own. But you know, there's not one homeless shelter in all of Warren or Hunterdon County. Many of the people who are in our shelters are not Easton residents. We're getting ready to appropriate another $300,000 in 2 weeks, and I want to make sure that, you know, we at least take care of our own. And so I agree with you, Leo. Believe me, you are not at odds with me. I'm in a full agreement. But I also know that there's infrastructure, $2 billion worth of infrastructure under our streets. There's employees, there's benefits, there's potholes, there's all kinds of needs that we keep putting off. And we'll take care of the homeless as much as we can. And I just want you to know that we're not, you know, when I'm out at night doing a tour of the city, believe me, my thoughts and prayers are for the people who don't have a house to go into. I'm not a heartless person. And I grew up in public housing. I know full well the trials and tribulations of being of lesser means. So I appreciate your comments, and I assure you that we will do something. And the Affordable Housing Task Force that we created, I just met with the chairman last week, and even though they're not meeting individually or collectively because of the COVID, they are meeting individually and moving forward on recommendations to come to the city, because homelessness is an issue in our city, but the big issue is the people who are working and don't earn a sustainable wage and have to maintain their family and are losing their homes. So believe me, I'm fully well aware of your situation and your not your situation, but your desire to help the less fortunate, and I agree with you.
And I appreciate that, Mayor Panto, and I appreciate your commitment to that. And I just wanted to say, I know I've talked to a number of people in the last 2 days, you know, who are willing to help out with that, willing to help these people. I don't know if you have any contacts with them. I walked up to Mount Ida twice today. I did not meet anybody up there. I was trying to have a conversation and see if they wanted some assistance with cleaning up the area. But, you know, just letting you know, there are people out there. I'm going to reach out to Safe Harbor because I heard you mention them to see if they have contacts up there. But, you know,
they were sending people up there this week. I mean, when they went up there, the same thing, they found nobody up there. Our police have had interaction with them, but it's later in the day. It's not during the day. It's like, you know, this was, you know, a couple weeks ago when it's still light out. But they've been up there in the last 3 weeks as well.
The only other thing I will add is that, you know, walking around that area today, I did notice some litter, but I will say the one garbage can in that parking lot near the structure down there near the fish ladder, that one public, I assume it's a public parking garbage can, was overflowing with trash. So even if folks wanted to put trash in a public can there, the can that was there was already overflowing. And I think just the distance from there to downtown is a little bit unreasonable to expect people to carry garbage just because it's half a mile walking. And I know when I take garbage out, it's, you know, maybe half a block, and I don't always love doing it. So I just think, you know, maybe adding some additional public cans there or something might help with the issue, just so that it can, you know, have some space for the capacity. But that's all the comments I had.
We will definitely look at that. That's a state park. It's cleaned up by the state Department of Environmental Protection. But I'll make a few phone calls tomorrow, see if we can't get that can emptied. If not, the city will empty their can for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If anyone else would like to address City Council on items about and concerns about the city of Easton? Seeing none, I'll call for adjournment. Or does City Council have anything else to come before the city?
Mayor, you have one hand raised.
Oh, okay. Hubert.
There you go, Mr. Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Hubert.
Outstanding. First up, I want.
Mr. Etchins, can I have your address, please?
I'm so sorry. My name is Hubert Etchison. I'm at 727 Cattell Street in Easton.
Thank you.
Yep. I wanted to thank you for helping us finish up the fountain project. I think it's going to be a great addition to the city and ultimately be returned to its tourist attraction status. But even after phase one, we had people who were going up and visiting that. And we could never have gotten there without your support, Mr. Mayor, and without the support of the city and the heroic work of the Public Works Department. So, and the number of people who have contributed to this, number of businesses who contributed to this project has been amazing. So I just wanted to put that out there and thank you for helping us finish that up. That's number one. Number two, sort of piggybacking on your closures due to COVID and whatnot, I've had a number of members from the neighborhood association express some confusion about sort of how the vaccination process is going to work. And I actually put some information out on our most recent newsletter. We have a wonderful contact, actually, Melissa Staris over at Lafayette gave us a wonderful contact at Lehigh Valley Health Network, and we're going to be doing a Zoom call to give folks some information. They are actually starting to do, I don't know what you call them, civilian population is 1B, the 1B group from
1B over 65.
Yeah, and a couple of residents on College Hill have already gotten shots and whatnot. So we are seeing some progress in terms of that, but I just wanted to let you know we're doing what we can in terms of getting information out. I'm happy to share that information with you guys if you want to post it anywhere in terms of our Zoom meeting. I think we're going to be doing that next Tuesday to have an expert from Lehigh Valley Health Network talk to us about that and give residents some guidance in terms of how they sign up in order to get their vaccinations.
Thank you. We will take advantage of any information you have. We've also been talking to both Lehigh Valley Health Network and St. Luke's. St. Luke's now owns Easton Hospital, and they've been very helpful. We've had meetings with several of their epidemiologists, and we've had meetings with Zoom meetings with Dr. Faccio, who is the head of the Easton Hospital, St. Luke's Easton emergency room. We have a tie there because he used to be an Easton firefighter. So Dr. Faccio has been helping us out with that as far as getting us through the quarantine of our employees, vaccinating our employees, giving our tests to our employees. Right now, our police and fire are getting vaccinated. And the police chief just told us yesterday that he expects to have anyone in his department who wants it to have it by the end of the week. So the first shot. We're very fortunate that we have two good health networks around to do that for us. And I do know that Lehigh Valley Health Network and St. Luke's are both getting more involved in the city of Easton, and you'll hear more about that as far as their community mindedness in the future. But I appreciate that, Hubert. We'll talk about that off sidebar.
Terrific.
All right, sounds good. Anyone else like to address City Council? I do want to say, I see there's a number of people from Lafayette. Andy Bennett's on, Melissa Staris is on. We are very fortunate in Easton that over the last 10 to 12 years, we've gotten quite a bit of state support and county support and federal support for our programs in the city. Our most recent round of RCAPs, which used to be called RACPs under the Randell administration, the RCAP, we've got $1 million for the Reineck Rope Company, the historic Reineck Rope Company. The college will be restoring that historic mill, which played a very important role in a number of things before steel, when everything was used with rope, and also the U.S. Navy. It's a great history. Mr. Reineck lived up on College Hill as a young boy. Representative Jim Prendergast lived across the street from him, and we used to go up to Mr. Prendergast's house, always went, because he had Mr. Reineck across the street had an electric train that went around the property, and you had views of the Delaware River, et cetera. So they got their $1 million grant for that, and they'll probably put another $1.5 million or $2 million in addition to that, not just the $1 million. We also have the $1.3 million grant that we were able to get to do the pedestrian improvements along that Bushfield Drive with curbs and sidewalks and street trees, et cetera, except for the college. The college did their own, but we'll do all along Easton Iron and Metal, which we purchased, as you know, as an expansion of our park system. We also have, we did receive initially a $1.25 million RCAP for 185 South 3rd Street, the Days Inn lot. We had asked for 3 million. I made a couple phone calls and begged and did everything we could, cried to get closer to 3. We got 2.25. We got an extra $1 million for that project. So we're very excited about that. I think that project, we met today with the developer, and they're looking to start that sometime in 2022. They'll go through the approval process, drilling and all those other preparations of the underground this year, and then start in the spring of 2022. So we're excited about that. I think it's going to be a great project. Seville is on track. The stair towers are going up. The elevator tower is done. If you go by, you'll see them working on that. They have this rear stair tower to do. They expect to be open sometime next January. So we're excited about even COVID didn't stop the projects from moving forward. It's our understanding that the Commodore has their final financing. They expect to start in April. So, that's again, keeping the old Kaplan's awning building and building around it. We have Benner building is looking to get started. We've met with Ari Schwartz about the Dutchtown Commons project. He's going to look for my assistance they're looking for state grants or some type of project. The Easton Home project, the Presbyterian Homes Incorporated, will be looking for tax exempt financing similar to what we did over at the mill at Easton, the old Black Diamond site. Easton Yards is moving forward. They've completely enclosed the building now. They're working pretty quick. Of course, they had a shell to work with. They weren't like starting from scratch. So things are moving forward. Our hope, of course, is by 2024 that the city goes over to 30,000 population, get back to closer to our 35, and brings back the tax ratables that we lost during the urban renewal age. So all things considered, moving along pretty well. For your benefit, we are out with our RFP for Pine Street Garage. We're hoping that the Pine Street Garage will take it down sometime in 2022 after the 4th Street Garage is built, obviously. And we're looking forward to putting out that RFP and see what kind of interest there is in that project. So if there's any questions on that, just give me a call. We're more than happy to talk about any of those projects. I will tell you that the Affordable Housing Task Force, there's a couple things coming up. I personally, it's an personal opinion, so I don't, you can do all the rental units you want. I really believe that the only way you break the cycle of homelessness and low and moderate income is give them a house to build family equity. And we're looking to, John Kingsley and I have been meeting with various people. We're looking to build new stick-built homes in the neighborhoods that we can sell for cost or below. We're looking for grants to help subsidize them so that we can sell it to a person that is below the median income, has a family of 3 or 4 kids, and can actually own a home and build on it equity as they live in that house, rather than giving them an affordable rental unit. Really doesn't do them any good because all they do is pay rent and they have no equity. So we're really looking at that. We're looking at a number of things. You'll be getting a presentation from the consultant that we had to do on the pocket parks that are in the city. Every one of those pocket parks had houses on them initially. I'm not even suggesting that we put houses back on them, but some of them just aren't worth anything. Some of them are just places for kids to hang out and cause problems in the neighborhood. But there's an opportunity of other property in the area, in the city, that we could build affordable housing on. And just let you know that 1218 and 1220 Ferry Street are very close to my dream of building a community center out in the West Ward of the size that has a full-size gymnasium, so Joel can play basketball, and classrooms and things that will be somewhat run by the city, but also an annex of Eastern Area Community Center. And that is something that we're looking forward to as well. We need something iconic out in the West Ward, and that would be really great to have a community center that people can actually use. Very similar to the Boys and Girls Club on the South Side, which I was just at the other day for their holiday party. Access Networks, I don't know if you know, but one of our relatively new businesses downtown that is in the old King Laundry. Hagai is the owner. He married a local girl. His main branch is out in Los Angeles, and he now has an Easton office an Easton location, and it's local people working there. They do in-house smart homes, networks and all kinds of gadgets and technology. He bought, must have been at least 75, 80 pair of Nike sneakers for all the kids. So we gave them out, and it was interesting that if you really look at what our downtown and neighborhood businesses have done, they've really done a great job throughout COVID of giving. We couldn't have things like the Project Hope Dinner where we served 700 people, but certainly they weren't forgotten. The Project Hope people, we teamed them up with Antonio's, and every Tuesday was free pizza. We went in there and just said, "Oh, Project Hope sent me here. Oh, okay, get free pizza." And so those things were good, and we were doing them, and I think that's important that we continue to do that. So, Madam Clerk, I'll move for a motion for adjournment.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Ruggles,
Second.
second by O'Connell. Roll call, please.
Mr. O'Connell,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Volcano,
Aye.
Mayor Panto.
Aye, and Ken Brown just says thank you.
Okay. Mr. Ettinger,
Aye.
Mr. Milan.
Aye.
Have a great day. Stay safe.
Good night, everybody.
Night,
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the public who
Good night.
tuned in.
So
Good
long,
night.
everyone.